So it's amazing how when I walked in here and I saw all these faces, mashallah, and I thought to myself, I hope and I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I can say something that will motivate myself and yourselves to do good. So while we are here, we use the opportunities, mashallah, to do as much good as we can. Like I was saying, there is a purpose. You are earning your livelihood here. Number one, to live your life. So you will have a salary. If you had money back at home, this is amazing. If you had money back at home well beyond the salary you are getting now, and it came to you on a monthly basis, I think, well, I can talk for myself, I wouldn't really be working in a job like yours. Because I'd have the money, I'd have everything. It would make me lazy. But Allah's plan is so perfect that if you are lazy, you will suffer health problems. If you think about the gym today, it didn't exist a long time ago because they used to work in the fields. It was more than the gym. They were healthy. They used to walk. They used to sweat. But today you touch the button, you press, you're sitting on a chair for 8 hours. So you have to go and pretend like you're sweating because you have to run on the spot. Because life has changed. If you don't, your choice will have an impact on your health. You know, when you see, for example, I'm here talking about the men, you know, you get to the age of 40 and then you have what is known as the middle age spread, right? If you don't worry about it, or if you're not concerned about it, you will lose yourself. You lose your health. Many people pick on women after they've given birth, but they don't realize, what about you, my beloved brother? Did you give birth too? That's what I say. They have an excuse. They did something grand and great. They contributed to humanity, subhanallah. We call it a jihad in Islam because it's really a great sacrifice to give birth. But what about a brother who's walking and has no excuse? So the point I'm raising is you have to work hard by nature, by Allah's plan. You have to work. If you don't sweat, you have to go and artificially sweat. People go into the sauna, they go into the various other places in order to sweat, in order to shed a little bit of fat. And like I said, you run, you stretch. If you had a life that was filled with working hard physically, you would not need to go to the gym. How many of you know, well, I come from Africa, those who work in the farms, those who work on the fields and so on, they don't need to go to the gym. It's us who have a luxury life. We have to go and pretend like we were busy. And we feel so important when we come back from the gym, like we've achieved something, yet you have to pay to do that. When you work, they pay you to sweat. When you go to the gym to sweat, it's the only time you have to pay to sweat. Have you thought of that? The only time you have to pay to sweat is in the gym. The rest of the times when you sweat, you get paid for it. Subhanallah. It's amazing. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is while you are sweating, while you are working, while you are earning, while you're purchasing what you need to live in these 70 years, and I'm going to use 70 based on the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, "A'maru ummati ma bayna sittina ila sab'in." The lifespan, the average lifespan of the members of my ummah is between 60 and 70 years. So that's the average lifespan. I'll use the higher figure, 70, just as a bonus, mashallah. So for these little 70 years, they're very short actually. For these 70 years, we have a plan. What's the plan? Inshallah, by 25, I want to have a car, I want to have a spouse. By 30, I want to have a house maybe. By 35, I want to have a kid who's already going into school, and so on. We have a little plan, even if we haven't written it down, it's there at the back of our minds. We need this to happen. Guess what? We work towards it. We work so much towards it that we start off at the age of 5 and 6 with the help of our parents. They teach us things. They send us to preschool. Then they send us to school. What is all this in preparation for? Can I tell you? To live your life. To lead a few years of your life. Because they send you to school at the beginning. You go to grade 1. I'm going to talk about our system. It's a British system in Zimbabwe. You go up to O levels, right? You write your O levels at the age of 16. You go to A levels at the age of 18. You go to university. If you do a short degree, 4 years, for example, that's 18 plus 4 is 22. At 22, you graduate, you get your first job. That's if you're lucky. You start looking for it anyway. So you get your job. A lot of the times they tell you, no, hang on, carry on with your masters. How long is masters? 2, 3 years sometimes, 4 sometimes. What will happen to you? You got to 26. Now you get your job and you start earning a little bit. So by the time you settle down in your job, you're about 30 years old. You have another 30 to 40 years to live. But you only have another 30 to work because they will retire you at 60. They tell you, listen, you're not fit to work anymore. Or retire, we need new blood. That's what happens. So you study for 30 years in order to work for another 30 years. That's life. We work so hard. And I tell you, when you're a doctor, and I'm sure in your field as well, there are courses, workshops, every so often. You have to attend a certain number of workshops in order to maintain your work permit, if that's what it's called here. In order to maintain that pass to be able to practice as a doctor, you need to have attended so many workshops, you need to have done so much, and you need to have developed. Otherwise, they might strike you off that list. And I'm sure in your case, you need to work hard in order to get a promotion. Otherwise, you stay where you are, and if you don't perform, you are demoted, and you might even be relieved of your tasks because you didn't work hard. So you need to prove yourself to who? To your boss. If you don't, it has an impact. The choice you make sometimes requires a lot of effort, and sometimes not so much effort. But it definitely has an impact. It's up to you to work hard, to work very hard.